Thank you. I want to thank everyone for being here, and Congressman Moulton, my colleagues in government, Mayor Tom Costin, always known as Mayor Tom Costin, as well as Postmaster. We're here today to really take a strong stand against what's going on with the post office, and what really is an attempt to disenfranchise millions and millions of Americans and to really destroy what is created in the Constitution, the U.S. Post Office, and that we all depend on every day. And we're here to stand up for them, for the workers at the post office, to say we support you as well. This is unprecedented times. This is an unprecedented action, and it's interesting that with John Lewis just recently passing away, and the fight to make sure that everyone in this country had the opportunity to vote, to see that the attempt, and after the 1965 Voting Rights Act was implemented, the attacks against that legislation began 7 months after that legislation was signed by President Johnson. And this is the ultimate end to that attack on the rights of people to vote. Really, in this pandemic, to attack mail-in voting and to attack the post office is unacceptable, and it's unbelievable, to be honest with you. So I'm here to stand with my colleagues in government, with the people that make our mail a reality every day, the workers that come through thick and thin to ensure that we get the mail delivered to our houses for so many different reasons: medication, checks, the things we depend on every day. To see this attack on the Postal Service is just, like I said, unacceptable, and we need to stand up and make sure that we stop the actions that are happening in Washington to really take on and eliminate the ability of people to vote in this election coming up. So I'm happy to be here.
Hi everyone, I'm Brendan Crichton. I'm the State Senator for the 3rd Essex District representing Lynn. And it's an honor to be here with my colleagues. We have State Rep Pete Capano, State Rep Paul Tucker, and I believe State Rep Dan Cahill is on his way as well. We in Massachusetts took decisive action during this pandemic to make sure that every voter would have an opportunity to do so. We did so by expanding early voting access and by making voting by mail available to everybody. And for us, it's disheartening to see our president not only attack forward-thinking states like Massachusetts that put these protections in place, but also to attack our postal workers, our mail carriers, who have been on the front lines throughout this pandemic and will continue to do so. One of the most crucial services our country has ever had, and to have them under attack, to have democracy under attack, is unacceptable. It's great to see a unified group of people here today, our friends in labor, but also our elected officials here to stand together against this, and we will continue to fight against this president as he continues to attack our democracy. With that, I don't know who I'm turning it over to.
I want to thank the congressman and everyone else who organized this event today. This is very important to make this an issue. The president has done everything he can since he's been in office to undermine every agency that makes this government work, whether it's the intelligence agencies, the EPA, OSHA. He's trying to undermine confidence in government. He's an authoritarian dictator. And this kind of action here is what we need to see everything, everywhere, to bring attention to what's going on in this country. This election coming up is one of the most important that we've ever had. Democracy is at stake, and whether it's redistricting or what he's doing now at the post office, it can't stand. We need to change it. And I'm glad to see everyone here today, and I'm proud to be here with my elected colleagues. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I have a very simple message today. First, we take what happens across the country in these very buildings. This post office here, the one in Salem, we take them for granted. You know why? Because people show up every day. Our dedicated postal workers show up every day. And unfortunately, one of the things that they have had to face and have it passed down to our citizens is a lack of leadership at the White House. What you see here today should be replicated across the country. Thank you to Congressman Seth Moulton for your leadership on this issue. We're proud to stand together. We're proud to stand with the postal workers. What we don't need is cuts. What we need is fully funding. Let these folks do their job and give everybody out there access to the ballot. That's what today's about. Thank you.
So cancel mail-in voting because Democrats screwed it up. Democrats made a mistake. The Democrat legislature didn't speak with the United States Postal Service. That's
Ladies and gentlemen, we have Congressman Seth Moulton.
You know, it's amazing that people would call for canceling mail-in voting a few days after President Trump ordered his mail-in ballot. I mean, talk about hypocrisy. He and his family have residency in Florida, and so they're voting by mail. That's the hypocrisy at work here. We are standing here today on the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment. The 19th Amendment that gave women the right to vote. Because there is nothing more fundamental. There is nothing more fundamental in a democracy than the right to vote. And that is what we are here to preserve. That is what the letter carriers and postal workers do every single day to preserve. Whether it's absentee ballots or mail-in ballots, which are basically the same. Whether it's ensuring that veterans like myself get our prescriptions through the mail, because 100% of VA prescriptions go through the mail. You want to stop that? You want to stop veterans from getting their prescriptions? That's what's at stake here. That is what is at stake. We are here to preserve the fundamental cornerstone of our democracy. And you know, the Postal Service, you'll go to post offices across the country, and you'll see that line that talks about the mission, the public service mission of the post office. That neither rain nor sleet nor the gloom of night will stay these swift letter carriers from their appointed rounds. But what we forgot about was a fascist president and his campaign donor cronies shutting off mail machines, putting people out of work, and explicitly saying that he will stop Americans from voting by shutting down the post office. That's what we're here to stop today. That's what I'm going to Washington this weekend to stop by voting on legislation to rescue the Postal Service. And those fundamental values, the fundamental value that every vote in America counts, is what our letter carriers work every single day to uphold. I could not be more proud than to be joined here today by someone who's seen more of the ups and downs of American democracy than anyone else here. I think that's safe to say. Someone who was the youngest mayor of Lynn, a United States Marine Corps corporal, and also the postmaster. Ladies and gentlemen, Mayor Tom Costin.
The reason we're going to win is right there. A big mouth that does nothing. A big mouth that does nothing. If he only spent a half a day doing half of what the congressman does, half of what the mayor does, and half of the people in office do, then he can speak up. But he's done nothing. He's done nothing. He's done nothing. When we get through, let him get up here and tell you what he's accomplished. Okay? What people fail to realize is that the United States people need the Postal Service. In most of the country, it's the Postal Service that keeps them all together. And without the Postal Service, we wouldn't have the country we have today. And what we have to do is to make sure that a fellow like Trump, who's trying to tear it down, it never gets back into office. We need a change in Washington, and it's going to be a Democratic change. Amen.
We have an amazing array of elected officials here, hosted by two mayors of Lynn, obviously the veteran here, and also Mayor Tom McGee. Any of us would be happy to take questions from any of the press.
Have there been machines removed here?
Question.
I'm not. Yeah, if they remove any concerns, yeah, I don't know the answer to that.
90-day freeze.
Postal service belongs to the people.
So as of right now, there are no machines removed or stopped right here. But this is a threat that's going out across the country. And there are plenty of places where machines have already been shut down and mail has been delayed. And I think a lot of Americans right now have already experienced the delays that are coming because of Trump's actions to try to stop the election. I don't know if any have been removed in Massachusetts yet. Thank you.
South Postal.
South Coast Atlantic lost a bunch of them.
Where's that?
South Coast Atlantic lost a bunch of letter sorting machines.
So some of our so the postal facility in South Boston has apparently, according to
In the Globe today.
has apparently already lost some machines. So it's hitting home. It's hitting home. Well, look, I mean, one of the things we're doing right now as Democrats is we're debating internally what is the best bill to put forward to address this. But the fundamental issue here is that the United States Postal Service has a public service, and it's essential to our democracy. So are there reforms that could be made to pensions or other things? That certainly can be discussed. But just like we would discuss reforms to the Department of Defense without imperiling the mission of the Department of Defense to protect our fundamental national security, we cannot imperil the fundamental mission, the public service mission of the post office. And that's what the president's trying to do. All right, guys. Anything else? All right, thanks more questions over there.
Thanks, man. Thank you. I'm trying to get the wave.